Hey, Rick, how's it going today?
What's up, Carlos?
Not much. Living the dream of the content marketing world. So, welcome everybody to episode 8 of Content Labs. Last week was really fun. We talked a lot about different stuff. So, we have a lot going on today as well. So, what we're talking today is a Martech report with some trends 2023, 2024. I think some interesting nuggets there. We're going to be talking about custom GPTs. What are they? How can you use them? Some of the things that we have been playing with. And there was an interesting column from, I think, Robert Rose that is about, it's not really a speed, but that is killing, not AI tech. So that is a real enemy is the name of the article. So an editorial piece from our friend Robert Rose. There's something about social media. Is it worth it? So we'll talk about that. There was also a very interesting update from Google a couple of days ago. So we want to touch on that. And last but not least, we'll be talking about voice and tone. What is it? Why is it so hard to get right? And how businesses can nail this or get better at it. So you ready to get this part started, Rick?
This is exciting stuff. Yeah, let's dive in.
All right. Well, Martech. So, what do we have in store for 2024 or 2023? What did the WordPress Content Matters? Is it Content Matters or Content?
It's Content Matters 2023 from WordPress. I think this is the second year now that they've put this report out. A little late in the year, but here it is. I took a look at it, found a couple interesting points. For one, well, let's dive in. Like, I feel like AI has pretty much taken over every conversation we have, so why not kick off with it? But some interesting details of the nearly 1,600 respondents to their survey. 3% said they're not currently using AI in their marketing tech stack or in their marketing processes. This was a very polarizing topic, not just 10 months ago, right? But here we are, 97% of marketers are using it.
Unless you've been living under a rock for the last 14 months, yeah, you are using AI or at least touching AI. And I think content marketers, at least everybody that I talk to, they're using it in some shape or form, or at least playing with it.
Here's a surprising stat, though. See if you can guess. Of those 1,600 people, what are they using it for most?
I know where you're going with this, and I think everyone would, especially in our industry, most people would guess that they're using it for content creation.
That's what I would have guessed, and it's not. It's not. 41% are using it for design, illustrating, and custom imaging or image creation.
That's very interesting. I think I saw another report where the main use, well, this is for ChatGPT specifically, was coding, right? Helping people with code and develop code. Now, in this report, they're saying that is using for images and design. That's very, very interesting. So where's
the marketers? Yeah.
Okay. So where's content writing? What is their place in
it? Came in more middle of the pack. Social media specifically was number 2 at like 38%. So just behind image creation, which surprised me because I think, AI is pretty good at taking source material and turning it into social media posts. You don't have to worry as much about, what school got to do with this. And I got to tell you, with my limited experience, if I tell AI to generate an image for me or something, I get the stuff of nightmares. I don't know about you. Apparently 41% of marketers know how to do it, but when I try,
well, we're going to have to send you to some prompting course for.
I guess I could prompt words out of it, but pictures, no.
Okay.
Another interesting thing.
Yeah, very interesting that people are using it for imagery and design more than right. But any other insights from that report?
Yeah, here's one that stuck out like a sore thumb. 69%. This shouldn't sound surprising, right? So 69% of respondents said that their businesses this year are tying revenue as a tracked metric to their content. Does that sound surprising to you?
It doesn't, but
No,
what it sounds surprising is that it came up from 28% last year.
22.
22, Jesus
No,
Christ.
sorry, 27%.
Okay.
27% last year. That was more surprising to me than the 69% from this year. Like, why wouldn't you tie? I mean, you can. It can be tricky, right? We all know metrics with content. You got to pick the right metrics depending on what you're looking to do, and it can be tricky. Yeah, if it's a conversion page, piece of cake, right? We can figure that out. If especially if it's a product, if it's a purchase on the page type of content, no problem. But that top of funnel stuff, right? That lead gen stuff, tying that directly into ROI gets a little tricky. But 27% last year and 69% this year. And I think that's just a reflection of where the market's at and businesses being very tight with their budgets and making sure that they're putting their dollars in the right place.
Yeah, I think marketers are smart enough, and not only marketers, but people outside marketing, they're starting to understand that there's a reason to create content. It's really to drive not only traffic. Traffic is a leading indicator, but also to drive revenue and to drive growth on your business, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it all comes down to driving your business forward. So it makes sense. Now, I think there's way more tools now to track performance than before, and also people are getting more educated. So I think it makes sense. I was really surprised that before just a fraction of the people, a third of the people, less than a third of the people were tying it to revenue. But I think it's great news until we're going the right direction. So
I think so.
was there any other nugget? I think
Yeah, a little pro tip with this one. So as marketers apparently start trying to tie actual revenue or ROI to the content, make sure that message is getting down to your writer. We see it all too often, right? Right. We're placing orders, we're working with clients, and we're having to kind of dig deep to find out what's your goal here. What are you trying to accomplish with this? And the purpose for that isn't for our own, satisfaction. We do like to know, but we need to get that messaging to the writer. It informs how they craft that content. Not just stick a CTA at the bottom of the page. No, what behavior you're trying to get? How are you measuring success with that piece? The writers need to know this. Your content managers need to know this. You'll see better results in your content.
That's a great tip. Thank you, Rick. So we'll provide a link or a file of the study. Very interesting in the newsletter. Okay, custom GPTs. What is this? Rick, you've been playing with them. I've been playing with them. So last few weeks, big announcement from OpenAI. They now let you build your own GPT. This is very exciting because you don't need to know anything about coding whatsoever. You can just chat with the thing. You can chat with the technology and tell the technology, hey, I want to build a GPT. And this is my GPT. And this is the color of my GPT, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very interesting. So we predict that there's going to be a lot of these new GPTs. Already, like everything in life, some will be good, some will be not that good. But it's exciting that we're all able to create these things. Rick, what's been your experience? You were playing with a brief creator, and it's looking really, really good. But what else have you used or you tried to build? Or tell us a little bit about your experience with this stuff that you do.
Yeah, I got a few of them going right now. So we got the brief creator one that's a really kind of robust brief creation aimed at users who maybe aren't as familiar with best practices with them. We've got one internally that we're helping us to QA data sets. Right? We have VAs who are QAing data and spending hours and hours doing this, but we're training it specifically to do that for them. And another one that we're going to fine tune to voice, a very specific voice that we want to be able to create content with repeatedly. We're going to teach it. Yeah. How many times, Carlos, have you tweaked a prompt in a chat GPT thread, and you finally got it right? You're getting the output you want. You come back 3 days later, you got a new thread, you try to do the same thing again. And it's like talking to your kid, like he doesn't remember a thing you said 3 days ago. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, that's the beauty of these GPTs, right? We get to train them now, and it'll remember that training, and we can use it time and time again and get it to do the things we need it to do the way we want it to do it. It's super exciting. It also introduces actions, right? Have you been able to use those yet? I'm going to spend some time this weekend on them.
Not yet. I'm still struggling with the first one. I'm trying to build around content marketing strategy. Hasn't been as easy for me. the other thing is like you can upload documents to or data sets to train your GPT. I think that's the exciting part. I've been uploading some documents. So I'll continue to play with it and report the results. But it's very exciting stuff. So people should check it out. And again, if you have access to ChatGPT Plus or ChatGPT Pro, I think are the
Enterprise and Plus.
Enterprise Plus, you'll get access to custom GPT. So go play with it. It's very exciting stuff. Okay, so the column from Robert Rose is the not AI tag the real enemy. So what's your take on that? It's very interesting title, very engaging title. So good, kudos to CMI Robert Rose for this piece of content. But yeah, I thought it was very, very interesting editorial piece. So what's your take on it, Rick?
Yeah, this one hit home for me a little bit, Carlos. I've had a few conversations about it this week. You know, I'm a massive proponent of technology and automation, but there's a line, right? And where this article goes is are we infringing upon that real core set, that skill set that we hired somebody, we put somebody in a role to do a job because they're really good at this thing. So are we putting automation into that core skill set and dumbing them down, really? Right. So, all right. Use automation, all the technology you can to make more efficient processes that go outside of that core skill set, you know, and make it faster. The admin stuff, the just got to get it done stuff. It's not, you know, anybody could do this. It's just a part of my job, but it's not where I shine. Absolutely automate that stuff, make it faster, take it off their plate entirely. But whatever reason you have this person in the position for, whatever it is they do best, like our content managers, right? You know, they manage workflows, they put teams together, they evaluate writers, they give feedback, they help craft the content to where it needs to be. That's what they do best. We need to reduce how much time they spend getting orders on the platform, doing all the administrative work that goes behind running projects so they can focus on what they do best. Putting technology in place that does some of those things for them is going to dumb them down, right? It's like a muscle. They've got to flex that human creativity, you know, have those ideas, that problem solving. If we just there are companies out there, according to this article, that are perfectly happy with a 70%, or not a 70% reduction, but a 30% reduction in the quality of their product or service if they can put automation in place. I don't know how that strikes you, Carlos, but I think it's insane. You know, like let people focus on what they do well and put technology everywhere else.
Yeah, I think we just kind of keep the balance, right? So I think fast is not better. So that's one of the points that Robert is making in his article, right? The fact that you're doing something faster doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it better, right? So I think if we go too much to the other end, and because there's so much pressure for results, that people choose fast rather than better, right? Because, you know, managers, we're impatient, we want results. Where's that SEO thing? Where are all my leads? Where are all my views? Where is all my traffic? I want that now, right? But we know, you and I know that SEO on content is a long game, right? So I guess if we're trying to do fast or even just fast and more, it's not necessarily better. So, and we're also dumbing people down. We're not letting it exercise the muscle. I know if this has happened to you, Rick, like, can you remember anybody's phone number? I only know one phone number.
I know mine.
My wife's and mine. And for my life, I couldn't remember anybody else's. And it's because now we have smartphones and we don't need to remember anybody's phone. But I remember when I can remember some of my friends, my high school friends' phone numbers because I had to memorize them. And I still remember them. I cannot remember the number of anybody that I listened to. So again, an example of why technology, if we just abuse it or just let it take over everything, then, you know, we're not thinking that then it's just going to produce rather than mail stuff, right? So I think I recommend everybody to take a read at this article. Very, very interesting. Now, let's move on to social media. We talked about social media, people using AI for social media. So is it social media worth it anymore? I think Michael Brenner was quoted in an article just recently saying that only 2% of leads or something around those lines are generated through social media. So is it worth? I don't know. What do you think, Greg?
He
It's 2%
said traffic.
of traffic.
Yeah.
2%. Yeah.
2% of your traffic for paid social? I don't know. But, the free social, why not? Why not? It's quick. It's easy. You can still do a good job with it without putting a ton of time. A world full of social media managers are cursing me right now for saying that, right? But yeah, I do think it's worth it. Maybe it doesn't deserve the amount of attention that it's getting. And maybe people need to start refining how they approach. There was an interesting part of that article, Carlos, where it said that LinkedIn posts are that ask for the conversion in the post itself are performing better than posts where it sends you back to a landing page. What do you think of that?
Well, I think every social media platform is different, has a different purpose, has a different demographic, a different persona. Right? So where I see problems is where people just want to paper content everywhere and they don't repurpose it for the particular platform. So why do I like social media? I like it because you are diversifying your portfolio of content, or you're diversifying your channels. And remember, the search, social media, anything else where you don't own the channel, well, is a risk because algorithm changes, or because Elon Musk decided to buy this social media platform, whatever, right? So you don't own those channels, so you need to at least have several channels and also have maybe a channel, but you need to treat every channel with a different strategy, right? And I believe social media serves a purpose to create thought leadership, to create trust, to create genuine content with people, with especially social media, is people driving the content, not a brand, not a company, not a corporate blog. So it's a great opportunity. We use it internally, to elevate our thought leadership, right? To generate that trust, to provide, great content for people in the format that people want to consume it in that particular channel. But I also see it as a diversification strategy. The other thing I see with social media is that people don't have patience, right? They want to say, okay, Mark, let's go do that social media thing. I always like, they want to see results immediately, but it just is a compounding effect. Like all these things combined, right? Like your blog, your YouTube channel, your LinkedIn, like all these things work together, right? So it's hard sometimes to measure the individual results of one particular channel, but the combine of all those channels should yield some results. I think I see LinkedIn growing really fast and I see a lot of adoption. I found myself doing a search on LinkedIn because I couldn't find a good result in Google. So I went to LinkedIn and I found what I was looking for. So I was looking for I think it was pitch decks, things like that. I just couldn't get, for the life of me, I couldn't get anything good from Google. And I actually found some really good pieces doing a search on LinkedIn. So maybe that's the next frontier for very specialized search. But
before we move on to this, what are your thoughts? Is it worthwhile going after niche social media? Looking and getting involved in your industry's Discord type communities, Reddit, Quora, things of that nature.
Oh, I think it's absolutely worth it if you have the capacity and if there's a meaningful community to your industry. I've seen communities in content marketing that are amazing. The content is created there, the opportunities, they're very specific, right? So it's not about volume. So your reach might be smaller, but it's very effective, right? So maybe your conversion or your effectiveness of your effort there, you might get a higher ROI. But it's hard because not all communities, not all topics, or not all industries, or not all topics lend themselves to create a community around. But for people that have that ability, those resources, they should totally explore it. Actually, I would invite people to visit or webinar that we did with Travis Talent from Brain Labs about how to leverage community for SEO purposes. Amazing webinar. Travis is great thought leader in that on community and SEO. So I encourage people to check that out. So
we can get that link.
That answers your question. Okay, exciting news on the Google front. Google never disappoints with having us on our toes. So they came out with a new update in of their search, right? Their search results and a few new features. So now we're gonna be able to follow topics. So if you follow a topic in our search result, it will feed Google Discover algorithm, and then Google will surface that type of content on your Google Discover.
So
Um,
is Google Discover replacing Google News? Because I mean, that's essentially how it works, right?
I think it
Maybe we'll be
did.
getting content instead of just news articles. We'll get a mix.
I think it will be a mix. At least that's how my feed on the Google Discover works. I get news and also articles. And I see sponsored articles here and there. What is interesting is that Discover is getting a lot of traction. I see a lot more attention lately, especially from SEOs. I think a lot of SEOs haven't paid any attention whatsoever to Discover, Google Discover, and now it's getting more attention and more traction. I think Discover and search are going to be a little bit more time. So something for people to keep on the radar and see how this feature evolves. There was an interesting one. Notes. So people are going to be able to comment on search results. And I think Lily Ray said and linked it, this is going to be a hot mess. And I couldn't agree more because people are commenting. And unfortunately, a lot of people that have time to make comments on the internet, some of them are not that great intended. So I don't know. Rick, what's your take? What do you think? Is this going to be a
I'm looking
mixer
forward to-
fighter?
Is it in? Is it in the labs yet? I haven't looked yet, but I am looking forward to seeing. I mean, it sounds like web page reviews.
Yeah.
Right? That's that.
Yeah, by the way,
it's
it's going to be in Search Labs, just to be clear. It's not going to be in the server. So if you're in Search Labs,
Right.
please don't experiment. I'm not sure.
but
I can't wait
that's
to see
beta right there. So, like, are we going to be seeing rankings impacted by the types of reviews, the types of comments that are left on the usefulness or value of a web page? And part of me says, you're right. What a freaking mess. But is it genius, right? Like, if suddenly top ranking articles are the ones where actual readers are saying, yep, this one did the job.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like putting votes for, voting for an article, right? But like anything in life, you can buy votes as much as you can buy reviews. Will these people weaponize this? Will people use this to sink their competitors? Or will people hire an army of fake reviewers or fake commenters? I don't know, man. This sounds like a dumpster fire. But, I want to think that Google knows what they're doing. Let's see what happens, but we'll be on the lookout and report as we get more insights into this. And last but not least, user-generated content. Google keeps shedding some light on this, and they said they will continue to put more effort into that. I've seen a lot of thought leaders and SEOs talking about how Google has been surfacing like just terrible content, right? Because a lot of people on Reddit and Quora, they make a lot of remarks or a lot of comments that are not really helpful. Hate speech, fake information, and is this helpful? So SEOs are asking and being cynical about it, and I agree with them. Is this really helpful? If if somebody is just making these bad comments or totally useless comments, and is this coming in your search results as because Google thinks it's helpful? But I think I want to give Google the benefit of the doubt. They come up with things and then they refine them over time. But yeah, I don't know, Rick, what's your take on this?
Isn't this what Perspectives was about? A dedicated place for UGC, social media, those types of results, but segregated from typical SERP results.
But Perspectives was more of a feature that you could turn it on or off.
Right.
By the way,
so if you want,
but this is user generated content surfacing in the SERP.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like I see the logic in having it in Perspectives, because if I go to my Perspectives feed for whatever search I just did, then I'm wanting to see others' opinions. I want to see UGC. I want to see social posts. But if I'm in the traditional SERPs, is it really useful? Like how are they vetting what's useful here and what, like, are we indexing every post that goes up? These things happen in real time.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. I don't know. I'm
And
cautious on this, Carlos.
yeah, I think the philosophy behind the principle is sound, right? Google wants to surface information, first-hand information, right? People that has first-hand experience around something. And sometimes, that's why Reddit is what it is, right? There is really, really useful content there. There's a lot of useful content there, and it's great to get first-hand experience.
Who's fact checking?
That's true. That I don't think there's a lot of fact checking there. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, when I give Google the benefit of the doubt, I expect them to refine this and get surface better results as time goes on. And again, something to keep in mind and just keep an out for. But very interesting world with Google making updates pretty much every other day. I'm launching new things. So, okay. Last but not least, voice and tone. And we are here with the expert of voice and tone.
Yeah.
Wait. But I know the voice and tone. This is people use this term loosely, but sometimes I don't think. Yeah, everyone understand the difference, which is which one is important, or why these two things are important, and really how to nail it, how to get it right for your brand and for your content. So
it's
what's
an
the
important subject, and I just met with my team earlier this week. We read an article in Voice and Tone. We talked about it because you've got to make sure that everybody has an understanding, because those two terms are often used interchangeably, but they're not interchangeable. Okay, so voice is permanent. You are who you are. Carlos, you have a voice. We, as Crowd Content, we have a voice. Every brand out there tries to have a voice, and it is what it is. You don't change it. Your voice is who you are. Tone is kind of the graphic equalizer. It's like the bass and treble buttons on your stereo. I might be dating myself. Do they still have? But they're how you kind of fine tune the voice depending on the situation, right? So Carlos, you're a funny guy. You're casual. You have a strong personality, and that generally comes through in our casual conversations, right? But when you have something serious to tell us, you're still Carlos. You're still Carlos's voice. The humor gets toned down. It's time to talk serious. So that's tone. It's a fine tuning of your voice, and it's really critical that first your writers understand what your voice is, and that you as a brand have defined what your voice is. But then within each individual piece of content that you're producing and publishing, that you're tuning that tone correctly, that you're making sure that your production team knows what the tone is for this scenario. You may be lighthearted and humorous in a lot of your content, but if you're putting a press release out that's some maybe not so great investor news, you're on the serious side now, right? And that's where tone comes into play. You don't want to change your voice; you want to change your tone.
So to put in other words, so voice is overarching, tone is specific. Voice shouldn't change; it should remain consistent on time. It can evolve, but it's not going to be dramatically different. Whereas tone can change from piece to piece.
Right.
So your voice should be captured in your project scope, your project brief, whereas tone can vary from brief to brief, piece to piece. Am I getting it right?
You are, but it's just a little step further, okay? Because let's take serious as tone. Serious for me may be very different than Carlos and serious, right? So you don't want to just tell your writer we're serious. No, we're serious within our voice. So how is your brand serious? That's your tone. It's not the same every place.
That makes all sense. Why is voice and tone so important when you're creating content?
Well, it can. I saw an article last week. I wish I remember which one it was, but it said it might have actually been the voice and tone one that we're talking about. 70% of consumers base their purchases on emotion. or 70% of the purchasing decision is based on emotion, whereas 30% is based on logic. So people are emotional buyers, and voice and tone is how you can connect with your audience when they're on your site. They may not be buying anything, but with every piece of content we publish, we're looking to get a behavior from our audience, right? And voice and tone goes a long way in doing that. If I'm trying to pump them up and get them excited about something new that I want them to learn about from us, my tone becomes excitable. It's positive. It's optimistic. Whereas if I'm cautioning them against the newest trend in the industry, and that I think it's a bit of a knee jerk, let's sit back and see how things pan out. My tone becomes a little more serious, a little more cautious. And I believe that you'll get better results from your audience if you're dialing your tone in to match the emotion that you want your reader to have. And mastering how to just kind of adjust that tone with the voice, your voice being permanent, adjusting the tone just right, depending on the type of content you're publishing. It'll go a long way to helping you get the results you're looking for, to see those behaviors from your audience that you're looking for.
Okay. So can we give our audience some tips on how to think about voice and tone?
Yeah.
What should
Let
they
me give you
do
three
to
quick
really
tips.
right? Okay.
Let me give you three quick tips on voice and tone. We see it all the time, right? Our voice is casual but authoritative, professional but friendly. It just that really vague, sounds like every other voice.
Yeah.
Tell your writers or think about your brand, think about your business, and tie the voice to a known personality. Our voice is Morgan Freeman. Our voice is Tony Stark's character from the Avengers, because that writers will hear that in their head, and it makes so much more sense to them than that just vague, overused. I don't really know what you're saying when you're telling me we're professional but casual. So that's tip one: assign an actual face and voice to your voice, somebody well known. Tip two: when you're creating your order briefs, voice ends up in those things a lot, but again, voice should be permanent. That should be in your project brief. It's overarching, it stays. Focus on tone in your project briefs. Look at what is this piece of content? What type of content is it? What are we discussing here? What are we looking to have happen? What's the right emotion? How should this piece sound in relation to our voice? That's tone. That should be described. It should change frequently in your content briefs, depending on what the subject matter is and what the content type is. And finally, tip three, and this one should go without saying, but we rarely see it. Give your writers examples. Give them examples of the different tones that they could end up using in your production. This is our typical article tone. We're lighthearted, we're friendly. But if we're talking about something like this, or if we're on a landing page or on a service page, this is what it looks like. Give them examples. It doesn't have to even be from your industry or your actual content, right? Just go use ChatGPT. Tell it what your voice and tone is, and keep working with that until you get one that you say, that's it. And then put that in your project brief. That helps your writers to dial in on that voice and tone. If you're putting bland content out there, it's likely because your writers haven't been able to make that connection with you as far as what your brand's voice and tone are.
Awesome. So I love Morgan Freeman or Tony Stark. I wish Morgan Freeman narrated my life. Maybe some people want to be Kevin Hart or Melissa Wolf. I don't know.
There you go.
Oh, no, Melissa Wolf, Michelle Wolf. I don't know if any of you remember her. But yeah, anyway, Michelle Wolf from the correspondent dinner. She has a very particular voice. So I don't know if you want to.
It could be Borat. Our brand voice is Borat.
Yeah, that was anyway, that's it for today. Awesome episode. I had a blast, Rick, as always. And remember, if you need any help with your content, please reach out. If you like this episode, please share it with others. You can listen to it while you drive, listen to it while you shower. You can watch it on YouTube, or just get AI to transcribe for you. Then you can read it.
There you go.
But yeah,
There's
share
a
with others
GPT
if you
for
like
that,
it.
man.
If you didn't like it, well, let us know. Tell us what you didn't like, and that feedback would be great. So anyway, we'll see you all on the next episode. Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.